Okay, I guess I can start. Welcome, I'm Michael. This is supposed to be a bit of a fun talk, so this is about it might be seven or nine different unexpected behaviors of the Java syntax. A lot of you might know this, but it just, always good to know and to repeat. It can be a little bit interactive, so if you know what's going wrong, just let me know. It is based on tests. I'm gonna run those tests. They all should go wrong, and we will figure out why it goes wrong. That's the idea. So, gonna run the first one. It's gonna fail. So, you would expect, because nothing is null, and now I'm referencing null with give me first, you expect an exception. So what could go wrong? Why does it not give a null pointer exception? Yes, so the thing is that nothing is give me first is actually a static method, which you can call on a null reference, which is kind of a little bit weird, but it does work. I found out that many people don't know this, so I put it in here. The next one. Let's run this. It's failing, so integer. 0 is smaller than the minimum value. Okay, obviously this false because it's 0, the minimum value. Where with a double, it seems to be true. Why could this be? It seems okay, right?
Precision of double value. The precision of double is not very
No. Because so the question is, how can we fix this test? I can show you how to fix this test. So we get the negative infinity because the the minimum value of the double is actually the smallest value you can have, and this is close to 0, so this is 0.0001. So, and it's a little bit inconsistent because integer, it's the minimum value, and you would expect the same behavior for double, but it's not. And this can, if you don't know this, you can actually make quite some mistakes in the code with testing and with values. So, let's continue to the next one. So this I have seen quite often in code. And I thought, what's going on here? So I have a big decimal, 0.25. First two is the same because my first assert is actually going correct. Can I see this here? Yes. So what is actually failing is the second one, this one. So why does the first one work and the second one doesn't work? It seems to be obviously exactly the same, right? Can you say again?
Cannot represent this number.
Yeah, but you can. The thing is, if you look at the recommended constructor for big decimal is the string, not a double value or an integer value. But the question is, why does it work with the first one? Because it's actually a power of 2, and the second one is not. It's internally represented differently. But this can lead to quite some mistakes if you use this in testing, for example. You get it from a database, and in a test you want to use this, and you think, what is going wrong here? I have seen this quite often happening. Next one. So this is a little bit with the zoom, a little bit tricky. I see. Let's try it this way. So this is failing, and let's see. So we got like this. I've made this mistake, I think, 10 times, even though I do know it. So the first list, so the first assert, is actually true because all the cities starting with A are at least 7. The second one, I filled all the cities on Z, which is 0, so the list is empty. And now I say, do all of them match with length bigger or equal than 7, which is actually not really true because there is no city in this list, but still the assert is true. So on an empty list. Why is that the case? It's actually, if you check this method, it is explained here even. It's called a vacuous truth. So everything on empty is true, no matter if it looks wrong or not intuitively. Do I still have? Yes, still have some minutes. Next one. So this is false. Question is why. I have also seen this actually, especially with values coming from a database, for example, or from an XML file, from a JSON file. So you get a string, you want to make something literal out of it, and then in some tests where you don't use the string but just some integer value or something, this happens. Someone knows why? Yes, very good. I think a lot of people do not know this because it's not used in daily life so much unless you work in some mathematical things or so. But yeah, so if you prefix a number in Java with a 0, it's an octa value, and it looks good like this, but it's not. Yes, also. Yes. Next one. So this is wrong, strangely. And it goes only wrong with, I can zoom this a little bit up here. It seems to go wrong with all values, and with 128 this fails. But you would expect it to be the same, because the, yeah, I just put it in the wrapper class. So why does it go wrong suddenly? Yes, so all the wrapper classes basically do caching under 128. So like a string, basically, it goes into a pool. And as of 128, it does not go anymore, and then it goes wrong. So you can, yeah, then you need to use equals. I think this is dependent. I think even on the JVM, it doesn't have to be like this. So I need to be careful. The next one, this is a little bit special one. Like this. I have this method here. And I commented this out because it's not working. It takes one parameter. Let's look at this method. And it actually takes two. So now how could I fix this? I mean, I could just remove this, then it's going to work, obviously. What I can obviously do is I can rename this here. That would not really help, right? Because then it's still wrong here. So what else could I do if I do not want to remove this parameter, just with renaming it to get the syntax correct? So one thing is I could put a keyword here, but it doesn't work, right? If I use int, I use a double, doesn't work. So I want to get this right, basically. Anyone? Okay, I can do it. Put a keyword here, this. It's working. So, anyone an explanation? Yeah, it's called a receiving parameter. It's actually defined in the Java specification. You might ask why. Why is this useful? So the first parameter is basically a receiving parameter. It's actually the class itself. Question is, why is this the case? There's only one reason why this is, because you can the actual this you can normally not annotate with some annotation. And this is made for certain libraries who would like to use this. So if you open some libraries that you might use on a daily basis, they do use this because you can annotate this parameter, and then you can do something on it, some kind of a parsing, scanning, etc. It's not very common, but it's still a fun thing to know. The next one. So we probably all know that these two things are possible. So you can I can put the brackets behind the name of the variable, or you can have it behind the data type. So I guess we all know that. But because this is possible, what you can also do is, this is not really a test, by the way, you can also do this with method. So instead of having this here, what we normally would do, right? This is working. What you can also do is you could put it behind it. So this is exactly the same as a variable declaration, just a method signature. I do not advocate to do this, by the way. This is just a little reminder of the Java syntax. Another interesting thing I came upon recently is this one here. So yeah, we all love or hate JavaScript, right? And had a colleague of mine was making fun of JavaScript because he can add commas there at the end, apparently without breaking the syntax. And then he said, I like Java, let's do this. However, you can do this in Java. You can do this. It's perfectly valid syntax. It was a quite surprise to me after 10, 15 years programming Java. I did not know this. You can do the same with this. So this is absolutely valid Java syntax. You can do it. So if you love JavaScript, just do it here as well. I was talking quite fast. Still have 4 minutes left. So I had one more. This is 9, I think. This IntelliJ. Okay, I forgot to switch it off. That is not so funny anymore. But anyone knows why this is working? Yes, it's a label. Yes. So it's not used that much. You maybe shouldn't use it too much. But the HTTP is actually a label. Last time I did this talk, I actually switched off the graying out of the comments. So it was more fun. But it's basically a label that you can put and reference here. That was really fast. Okay, so that is it basically. I hope you enjoyed your lunch, and thank you for coming.